What are three important consulting rules that every consultant should know? Hi everyone, my name is Johannes Niari. I'm a strategy consultant, and on this channel I want to help you to learn the necessary skills for your first years in consulting, to have a successful career, but also to live a balanced life. And today I want to share three important consulting rules that are important for every consultant. Let's start directly with rule number one: solve problems. And I remember when I started in consulting, I had an internship, and a project manager gave me the task to do research to find a certain piece of information about a company. And after 2 hours, I couldn't find the information, and I went back to my project manager and said, "Dear project manager, I'm really sorry, but I cannot find the information. It's impossible to get the information." And he just looked at me and asked me, "Okay, Johannes, have you done everything to get the information?" And I thought about it. And of course, I did some desk research, and I, took a look at the knowledge management system, but I didn't, access every source out there. So I didn't, for example, check databases. I didn't talk to colleagues. I didn't, schedule expert calls and so on to get to that solution. And he said to me, "Johannes, we as consultants, we are paid and we are hired by the client to solve business problems. So coming back and saying, I don't have a solution and I don't have an approach to get to a solution is not an option in consulting." And that really stuck with me for the rest of my consulting career. And this is a very important rule, that you have to think in solutions, that you have to solve problems all the time. So what does this mean exactly for you? So basically, as I said, in consulting, we are paid to get to a solution. We are paid to provide solutions. And I know sometimes it's very difficult to get information or to do a certain task. But what I see very often is that people give up too early, especially younger colleagues. They try something, and after 1 or 2 hours, if they don't get the desired result, they say, it's not possible. But the thing is that, of course, as consultants, we do complex tasks, we tackle big challenges, and of course, there are some problems on the way. But don't do the mistake to just go back to your project manager or even to the client and say, "I don't have a solution." Always go back and say, "Okay, I have tried this, and this is what I can do, and what else we can do in order to get the solution," and then try to get the advice from your project manager or the client. Okay, but you always have to stay solution oriented. You always have to think, what else can I do? What else can we try in order, to get to the solution? And of course, it's totally fair to ask for advice if you need some help. But nevertheless, never say it's not possible. Always solve problems and think in solutions. Rule number two that I want to talk about is that you have to apply the 80-20 rule. And I once worked with an intern together, and he had the job to do a certain analysis in a Excel sheet, and we asked him, to perform an analysis and then to create a dashboard to, that we also could show this analysis to the client. And, after 2 days, we had a session to talk about the Excel, and he opened the Excel, and, we had what we saw was basically, a beautiful designed dashboard with many fancy drop downs and cool graphs and very interactive, and it looked really, really great. But when we asked for the actual analysis, he said, "Okay, guys, I'm really sorry, but I had no time to do the analysis because I spent so much time on working on the dashboard." And then, I asked him, "Okay, but what do you think has the most effect for us? Is it for the client more important to have a fancy dashboard, or is it for the client, more important to have a fancy analysis, without a dashboard?" And of course, it's more important to have the analysis, and the dashboard is nice to have, but it's not really, what gets us to solving business problems. And this is important, and the mistake that this intern did was that he didn't apply the 80-20 rule. He didn't focus on the 20% of the work that caused 80% of the results of the outcome. He rather focused a lot of his time on the dashboard, where he basically wasted time because he couldn't create any valuable results except of just having a fancy dashboard. So what does this mean for you? And very often, you have to be aware that in consulting we don't have much time, and we always basically on a daily basis have to decide what we do, but also what we don't do. And if you make this decision, I would always recommend to have the Pareto principle, to have the 80-20 rule, in mind. So to always try to identify the 20% of the work that you can do that account for 80% of the results. And then, once you have done that, then you can do the rest of the work. And in most cases, people spend way too much time in brushing things up, in focusing on design, making things look nice. But this is the 80% at the end. Always make it a habit to focus on the 20% first. And in most cases, this is like doing the analysis, providing the content, and then the design comes at the end. So this is rule number 2: apply the 80-20 rule. Then rule number 3 I want to talk about is don't boil the ocean. And I remember when I was a senior consultant and I had the responsibility of my first stream. Of course, I wanted to do a great job, and I had to structure the stream and think about, okay, what kind of analysis do we want to do in order to solve the business problem. And when I made this, when I tried to set up the structure, I came up with so many things. I said, okay, I want to do a questionnaire, I want to do deep dive interviews, I want to do focus groups, brainstormings, I want to do a cash flow analysis, P&L analysis, balance sheet, and wrote down all of the things. But when I wanted to put that on a project plan, I realized that's a lot of things to do, and probably it's not even feasible to do that. And I talked to my project manager back then and asked him for feedback, and he said, Johannes, don't do the mistake and boil the ocean. Okay, you don't have to take a look at everything out there. Rather focus on only a few key aspects that we want to take a look at, and then let's try to do that really well, but leaving out all the rest because we simply don't have the time. And this also doesn't bring a lot of value if you check everything out there. And this is an important rule: don't boil the ocean. And this is also something that I can advise you, or that I think is very important to understand, especially if you are new in consulting, because it's not a problem that there isn't enough data out there. In most cases, you have plenty of data out there. The important thing and the difficult thing in consulting is to try to understand what part of the data, or what data set, or what kind of analysis really brings the valuable insights that you need to get one step further. And this in most cases means that you don't have to boil the ocean, you don't have to take a look at everything, rather focus on the important things, focus on the key drivers. And this is a very important rule that helps you to be more efficient and to get to results much faster. If you want to learn more about consulting skills, then please check out my free masterclass in the link below. There I talk about how you can prepare for your consulting career, how you can learn more about the consulting skills that you need in your first years. Also, if you like this video, then please leave a thumb up and subscribe to this channel. I'll post regular videos about how to learn the skills that you need for your consulting career. And with that being said, I want to thank you for your time and hope to talk to you soon. Goodbye, Johannes.